Dr. B.C. Goel is Scientist G and Head Research Management and Outreach Division, National Institute of Hydrology, Roorkee. Hydrologist with a demonstrated history of working in the government research institutions, skilled in watershed hydrology, hydrologic instrumentation, integrated water resource management, rural development, societal projects, and projects management. Strong research professional with a PhD, MTech, focus in geophysics from Indian Institute of Technology, Roorkee. He is also member secretary of Indian National Committee of Intergovernmental Hydrological Program of UNESCO. Very warm welcome, sir, and over to you. Thank you.
Hello and namaskar. Welcome again to the webinar on water for public health, preparing for disasters and pandemics. Actually, you have been watching lectures of this webinar since 26th August 2021. This is a 33 lecture series. My name is V.C. Goel and I am presenting to you the last lecture in the series. My topic is water security for public health, some policy implications. In this lecture, I have tried to summarize the webinar and highlight some policy issues related to water for public health. I have also attempted to cull out and present before you some documents available in different parts of the world, providing useful guiding information on water and health to be used by hospitals and other healthcare facilities. So the topic, as I mentioned, is water security for public health, some policy implications. Coming to the valuing water, the theme of this year's World Water Day is valuing water. This means that we should ponder what does water mean to us, to our life today and to our future. Healthcare services cannot continue uninterrupted without access to water supplies for operation of vital medical equipment, hand washing, drinking, etc. So that means water is vital for health and for healthcare facilities. Just like oxygen supply, we can imagine what will happen if water supply is disrupted at these healthcare facilities during pandemics such as COVID-19. We have seen the case for oxygen supply, and we can very well imagine a similar case for shortage of water supply. Ensuring a safe and reliable water supply and maintaining water sanitation has become ever more critical during this pandemic. So guiding documents help healthcare leaders and workers make the changes needed to reduce their water consumption, use appropriate quality of water for safety of patients and other uses, responsibly treat and reuse wastewater, conserve water and become water warriors. So a sound and judicious water management is equally important for hospitals and healthcare facilities. Actually, some time ago, I came across this news that Mumbai hospitals are draining Mumbai's water supply. This was in May 2011. And the report says many hospitals, city hospitals, which have been crying hoarse over water cuts, are actually responsible for a considerable amount of wastage of water. This was from statistics from the water meter department of many South Mumbai wards. And according to the BMC norm, 450 liters of water a bed a day should be used by the big hospitals. But statistics show that major city hospitals consume much more water than they should on a normal day. Hospitals, on the other hand, do not see a problem in their water consumption, and they say that they are unaware of standard available on per bed water allocation. So this is the case which led me to think about this webinar, and I started thinking on the lines that are doctors and healthcare workers aware of appropriate water use for patients? Are hospitals and healthcare facilities in India practicing desired water conservation and wastewater management at their premises? Are healthcare facilities in India aware of water regulations for their patients and healthcare workers? And do guidelines exist in India for regulation of water supply and water management at healthcare facilities? So these are, and water supply and use of water at healthcare facilities in India therefore needs introspection. So these were the questions which led me to think that why not organize a webinar on this theme. So we have seen that we know water is an essential part of treatment at healthcare facilities, and appropriate water use is critical for public health because many diseases are linked to quality of water. Then quantity and quality of water availability is vital for patients and also for health workers. Good quality water is essential for many medical procedures. Wastewater surveillance, especially during this COVID-19, there was a concern that what is the quality of wastewater, whether coronavirus is present in wastewater, whether other pollutants are present in wastewater. So wastewater surveillance is required, and water audit for appropriate use and conservation is required at these premises to identify conservation measures that are easy and simple to implement, resulting in less water use and lower water bills. And emergency water supply plans in case of disasters and pandemics, which I don't think is presently available at barring few big hospitals at any other healthcare facility. So this was the stimulus for organizing this webinar on the theme of water for public health. And therefore, we kept in mind the following audience for our webinar. Majorly doctors and health workers, then hospital management. They are responsible for providing the infrastructure facilities, including water. Then accreditation agencies such as NABL, GRIHA, Medical Council of India. It is also relevant for policymakers and bureaucrats. It is equally important for urban local bodies like Nagar Nigams and water utilities, and for implementing agencies which include NGOs working in the field of public health and WASH. So these were the target audience for this webinar. How we started? We started with the idea of sensitizing medical professionals on appropriate and efficient water use. Then we brought together doctors and other medical professionals, water researchers, specialists, policy planners, communication outreach professionals, and technology providers. And then all these speakers of our webinar belong to government, non-government, academics, and industries. So whole spectrum we have tried to cover. Then we brought on forefront the issues and challenges of water for public health. We identified relevant topics covering the entire chain of water uses, desired quality of water, WASH-related issues, wastewater monitoring and treatment using nature-based systems, concept of circular economy, new tools such as artificial intelligence and machine learning applications in public health and WASH, disaster risks and preparedness, cost aspects of interventions at healthcare facilities, corporate social responsibility funding in WASH sector, communication and outreach activities, water conservation and policy related implications in public health and WASH. And the launch ceremony of our webinar was the chief guest at the ceremony was the Secretary, Ministry of Jal Shakti, Government of India. So the concern we wanted to convey to the government, to the bureaucrats and policy makers was noted at the highest level of policy planning, that is at the secretary level. In this webinar, we have designed 33 lectures by eminent speakers, and these speakers include doctors and medical professionals from AIIMS, from 3 AIIMS, New Delhi, Jodhpur and Bilaspur. We have faculty. Then from IMS and Some Hospital, Bhubaneswar, ESIC College of Nursing, National Center for Disease Control, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Center for Disease Dynamics, Economics and Policy, New Delhi, and Public Affairs Center, Bangalore. So from these, we had medical professionals. Then we had researchers and academics from organizations such as NIC, NERI, NIH, MNIT Jaipur, IIT Bombay, IIT Gandhinagar, IIIT New Delhi, and some central universities and private universities and universities overseas from Germany and US. Then we have another category of non-governmental organizations such as UNICEF India, WHO India, UMI India, WaterAid India, and Center of Microfinance. Then we have people from industry, from Transserve Technology Goa, Blue Drop Wetlands Hyderabad, and Natural Solutions Thane. We have some individual consultants and India Water Portal. So the coverage of topics, as you can see here, it is varied and it covers the whole spectrum of public health and WASH sector. Coming to the topic of waterborne disease, lack of safe water to meet daily needs is a reality for many people around the world, especially in developing countries and underdeveloped countries, and it has very serious health consequences. The situation is getting worse due to population growth, urbanization, and increased domestic and industrial water uses. And as you know, that most commonly occurring diseases through drinking of unsafe water are infectious hepatitis, cholera, dysentery, typhoid, then amoebiasis, and contaminated water may also cause many more bacterial, viral, and parasitic diseases. And majority of diarrheal deaths occurred worldwide are mainly associated with unsafe drinking water, inadequate sanitation, and poor hygiene. And the World Bank estimates that 21% of communicable diseases in India are water related. And certain sections of population are more vulnerable to unsafe drinking water, such as children, the elderly, laborers and field workers, and pregnant women. In this, we can say that healthcare organizations can play an important role in advocating for reliable, potable water access, which will reduce waterborne illness, which stresses the healthcare delivery infrastructure, especially in India. Now coming to the disasters and pandemics. Disasters such as earthquakes, cyclones, or floods can affect large areas and population, and these also affect health facilities. And when these health facilities are affected, this leads to effect on the services, medical services. then deficiencies in water and sanitation systems can increase vulnerability of communities. We know this. And then the interruption of water and sanitation services during a disaster often compromises the health and social benefits derived from installation of the infrastructure. Damages in sewage systems, wastewater treatment cause contamination of nearby bodies and loss of sources of water and environmental degradation. Pandemics such as COVID-19 has put lot of pressure on availability of safe and sufficient water, and this pandemic has also revealed the necessity to rethink our preparations for future challenges such as impacts of climate change as well as other potential outbreaks. As we know that water is an essential resource for our society, especially during a pandemic during which hygiene plays a pivotal role in mitigating the spread of the disease. And we have seen this during COVID-19, where a lot of requirement of water was there for hand washing, cleaning of floors, and maintaining hygiene. So COVID-19 pandemic is causing severe stress to the society with direct implications for public health and public water services. COVID-19 has exacerbated vulnerabilities of the disadvantaged and marginalized groups who often have limited access to water and sanitation, and ensuring a safe and reliable water supply and maintaining water sanitation has become more critical during this pandemic. But there is a good part of a pandemic, which is that now government and all organizations related to healthcare facilities, they have started thinking on the lines of digitalization. More and more digitalization is in process now. Already we have seen this digitalization in water management sector, and now we are likely to see this impact in the field of water for public health also. An estimated 80% and 50% of water utilities in developed and developing countries are expected to undergo a digital transition to some extent by 2025. This is an estimate, and already we have seen that big companies like HP and others, they are leveraging digital innovations, data analytics, and technology for better water management. So this will also apply to the health sector. This is a good sign. You must have heard about the Sustainable Development Goals of United Nations. Sustainable Development Goal 6 concerns with water and sanitation. According to WHO, over 2,300 deaths occur every day from diarrheal diseases, with 1.5% of the global disease burden due to poor water, sanitation, and hygiene. So, inadequate wash in healthcare facilities has been linked to the spread of antimicrobial resistant infections, placing patients and staff at risk of serious infections. Healthcare providers working under such conditions are also unable to maintain hygiene and prevent infections, and therefore this could be life-threatening. Furthermore, unsafe disposal of wastewater from healthcare facilities can contribute to the spread of AMR in the environment and communities. AMR is a major factor determining clinical unresponsiveness to treatment and rapid evolution to sepsis and septic shock. So this is a very serious condition, and wastewater, we have to mitigate and treat wastewater. It should not enter into the health care system. In 2018, the Secretary General of the United Nations issued a global call to action to elevate the importance of and prioritize action on WASH in all healthcare facilities in both public and private sectors. The call recognizes the important role WASH plays in preventing infections, saving lives, and improving quality of care. A protocol on water and health is an international agreement that aims to protect human health and well-being through better water management. So this is again promoted by United Nations System, WHO. We have seen that water used in hospitals and other healthcare facilities comprise about 7% of the total water used in commercial and institutional facilities. This is data from US. I'm sure this situation would be similar in India, maybe slightly lower, but the use of water for health purposes gains very vital importance. We all know this. And largest uses of water in hospitals are cooling equipment, plumbing fixtures, landscaping, medical processes, laundry, hand washing, and drinking water for doctors, health workers, and patients. So, but it is estimated that many countries lack a set of coherent standards for WASH in healthcare facilities. So that is why we thought of organizing this webinar to create awareness, to sensitize the stakeholders. Now, many guiding documents are available for healthcare facilities, both in India and abroad. So we have tried to compile some of these documents with an intention that similar documents can be prepared in India to be used by the hospitals and other healthcare facilities. So these are some of the guiding documents which are available internationally. I'll briefly cover these documents one by one. First is this a critical connection, the water and healthcare public health sectors. This is produced by EPA in US. This really establishes a link between water utilities and healthcare facilities, and this provides guiding material for them, and this highlights that water utilities need to know how they can best assist and advise their critical healthcare customers, because hospitals and healthcare centers, these are customers of water utilities, so they should know how they can assist. And similarly, water utilities need to let healthcare facility know about planned and unplanned changes in water chemistry and storages. There are some breaks in water utilities. For some reasons, there are some chemistry changes in water. There are some storage issues. So water utilities should inform the healthcare facilities in advance about these changes and the type of preparations these healthcare facilities should do. Water utilities, healthcare facilities, and public health agencies should establish communication with local units of SDRF, State Disaster Response Force, to respond together during an emergency. So this is one document prepared by EPA. Then this is a document called International Health Facility Guidelines. In this guideline, basically written for healthcare facilities, is a consolidated document listing out the design requirements for all new construction and major renovation healthcare projects. And it has two sections concerned with water systems. It has many more, but related to water systems, it has water systems design and sanitary drainage system design. So these are the two sections which concerns water and sanitation. And this document is intended for architects and engineers and others engaged in design and renovation of healthcare facility. And this includes guidance on water treatment system, healthcare sanitary fittings, irrigation systems, grey water systems, hot water and steam systems, wastewater drainage, drainage from systems that contain human waste, stormwater drainage, drainage from dedicated laboratory areas where systems will need to be neutralized before connecting to the main system, such as radiation drainage from, for example, from oncology areas. So this is one very good guidelines. Next is health technical memorandum guidance. This is on healthcare specific elements of standards, policies, and up-to-date established best practices. And this provides with examples like identifying leaks, then urinal flushing, wastewater recycling, and it also mentions about the water auditing process. For example, calculate water in collect existing areas, then identify and measure main sources of water, submeter and audited components, calculate water out, water in. So that way it completes water audit. Next document is called Water and Health Opportunities for Nursing Action. Clean water, as we know, that is also a crucial component for providing safe nursing care. And water is essential for tasks such as washing hands, giving newborn their first bath, and a staggering amount of laundry produced every day in healthcare facilities. So nurses need to be aware of the challenges that impact the water supply in their community and how they can jeopardize health. And it says that while the United States has made great strides in providing clean drinking water, water quality and safety still remains a major concern for public health. So if US can say this, we can think of our own conditions in India. Next document talks about WASH in healthcare facilities. This is a WHO UNICEF joint monitoring program for WASH, WASH services in healthcare facilities. It says that these facilities are substandard in every region, and it says that across all regions, WASH services in healthcare facilities fall short of WHO and national standards. And to improve WASH services in healthcare facilities, 8 practical steps have been identified and are described and illustrated through case studies. These steps include actions such as developing national roadmaps, setting targets, improving infrastructure and maintenance, and engaging communities. And this says that by 2022, 60% of all healthcare facilities globally have at least basic WASH services, and by 2025, 80% should have basic WASH services. And the target is that by 2030, 100% should have basic WASH services. The next document is guidance documents for members. Actually, this is a global green and healthy hospitals. This is a network of hospitals, and this network presently has about 1,500 members in 72 countries, including India. Covers about 43,000 hospitals and health centers, and this GGHS is producing a series of guidance documents. These documents are intended to assist GGHS members, member hospitals and health systems around the world to reduce their environmental footprint and promote environmental health. This water guidance document helps healthcare leaders make the changes needed to reduce their water consumption, responsibly treat wastewater, and minimize the environmental impacts of storm runoff by identifying specific actions that healthcare facilities can take. And although some of the hospitals in India are included here, we have to see that how many of them are honestly implementing these guiding documents or the steps suggested in these documents. Next document talks about 4 ways to reduce water usage in hospitals and medical facilities. So this outlines the areas where we can promote water conservation, where we can have efficient water usage, and so this is another good document. Next document is basically to deal with emergency situations, emergency water supply planning guide for hospitals and healthcare facilities. This is again produced by EPA, and we know that disruption in water supply may be due to damage or break in main supply line because of cyclone, hurricane, flooding, or cloudburst. Then because of contamination of water supply or adverse impact of climate change, and maybe because of vandalism. To deal with such interruptions, healthcare facilities should have plan ready to identify alternative mean of providing water needed for consumption and essential care activities, and also water needed for equipment and sanitary purposes. So this is a good document to deal with emergency water situations. Then coming to the documents in India, we could locate some of the documents like Indian Public Health Standards, IPHS, which provides guidelines for district hospitals and also guidelines for sub-district, sub-divisional hospitals. This was produced in 2012. Then we could locate one guidelines for hospital emergency preparedness planning. This was prepared under Government of India UNDP program. And we could locate one document on making city smart, that is a smart cities mission document. And then we could locate only one BIS standard, code of basic requirements for water supply, drainage and sanitation, which was prepared in 1993 but reaffirmed in 2007. Again, it is quite old. Talking of these documents, then another was guidelines for implementation of Kayakalp initiative. This is a fairly recent one. Then Kayakalp initiative of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare deals with hospital support services, and it has a section on water sanitation. It mentions water requirements as per BIS standard, storage of water, including cleaning of storage tanks, disinfection of water tanks, and ways to test and ensure quality of water. It has an annexure on standard operating procedure for cleaning, but I feel that it should have an annexure on SOP for water use, conservation and management. So this is one component which may be added to this initiative, Kayakalp initiative. Then Indian Public Health Standards provides guidelines for services that a district or sub-divisional hospital is expected to provide, classified as essential and desirable. IPHS mentions hand washing facilities in all OPD clinics, wards, emergency, ICU and OT areas. Safe clinical practices as per standard protocol to prevent healthcare associated infections and other harms to patient. This document mentions this, but it has no section on water supply and management except for a mention of rainwater harvesting under environmental friendly features. Then the document on smart cities has sections on healthy urban environment and resource conservation and regeneration. It mentions how water is captured, stored, distributed. But it doesn't specifically mentions of water use and management at hospitals and healthcare facilities in smart cities. So maybe we can add a section on this. Then guidelines for hospital emergency preparedness planning were prepared under Government of India UNDP DRM program. It intends to encourage hospitals to formulate their own emergency plans that will meet demands of medical care more effectively during disasters and emergencies. It mentions about protection of key installation of the hospital, including water supply. Second, adequate sanitation services within and around hospital. Third, provision to meet the additional requirement of water. But it has no clear mention of emergency measures for breakdown in water supply or supply of contaminated water. So maybe these things are added here. These are some details of these documents I just spoke about. Then I could also locate one brief document on impact of water costs in hospitals. This was prepared by Regional Medical Director of Fortis Healthcare Limited. And this talks about costing of water related infrastructure in hospitals. And we have also included one lecture on costing of wash interventions in healthcare facilities across India. This was delivered by Katie Sang and Dr. Jyoti Joshi. Interested audience can refer to this lecture again. So this was all about the documents available internationally and nationally. Now, summing up and talking about way forward. So we have seen that water is an essential part of treatment at healthcare facilities, and appropriate water use is critical for public health, because health or illness is strongly related to the quality of water. So ensuring water quality and safety requires active participation of all its stakeholders with medical community. Majority of healthcare professionals have received limited training in evaluation of waterborne diseases. So we need to organize training courses for nurses and technicians, for example. Then water audit for appropriate use at healthcare facilities for potable and non-potable uses is desirable. Wastewater surveillance at healthcare facilities is presently not practiced. We have to be very careful about wastewater monitoring and treatment within the hospital premises. COVID-19 pandemic has revealed the necessity to rethink our preparations for future challenges, such as impacts of climate change as well as other potential outbreaks. AI and ML techniques and geospatial technology is helpful in increasing the resilience of healthcare facilities for a changing environment. Then this also brings a very strong need that medical and water professionals should work in tandem. And these hospitals, at least the big hospitals, should aspire for net zero water use within a hospital system, which is also very important from the circular economy point of view. And a net zero building means which harvests rainwater and recycles its wastewater for reuse, and it replenishes as much as it consumes. And basically this includes two factors: water conservation and efficient water use, which are the pillars of circular economy, and these are also futuristic goals in healthcare industry. Then water security plan, which includes emergency water supply plan, is desirable for healthcare facilities. And India needs, very important point, that India needs guidelines on water conservation and management in healthcare facilities. And once we have these guidelines on water conservation, water management, water security, we need a very strong communication network or format for behavioral change, which can be done through IEC material. And once we have this IEC material ready, we'll need the IEC units at district level for government related healthcare facilities and maybe in each healthcare facility in private sector. So this communication, effective communication and strong communication is very important if we want to bring some behavioral change among the patients and also among the medical professionals. So some awareness material which we can have at healthcare facilities, I have listed out here, that we'll need this material at 4 different levels. First is the hospital or the healthcare facility management level, which should include details or material about water efficient building, rainwater harvesting, water auditing, wastewater disposal and surveillance, and to maximize treatment and reuse of wastewater, water security and safety plan. So management, hospital management should be aware about all these things, all these aspects. Then doctors should be made aware about the appropriate quality of water which they can use during their services, operations. Then for nurses and technicians, we need to tell them about hygiene and appropriate quality water for different uses. Then the next level is for patients and visitors who visit these facilities and hospitals. They should be told about water conservation and about avoiding water pollution. So we need a good, strong awareness material at healthcare facilities. This is about water security plan, that how you can assess your facility. So ultimately, we have come to the end of this webinar on 6th of October. This webinar will end. All the lectures will be delivered by 6th October. So what we could achieve through this webinar, first, we feel that we have been successful in raising awareness among the stakeholders, and I feel proud in establishing linkages with hydrologists, doctors, other medical professionals, and specialists of AI, ML, geospatial technology, natural treatment systems, which are also nature-based solutions, then corporate social responsibility, circular economy. So all these professionals and specialists, they have come together discussing different aspects. Then I am extremely thankful and grateful to all speakers for contributing in this webinar. I am especially thankful to my colleagues, Dr. Jyoti Patel and Mr. Varun Goyal, for putting in tons of hard work and time and working tirelessly in making this webinar a reality. Finally, I can say that I sincerely hope that this journey has just begun and will continue in years to come. As a saying goes, big journeys begin with small steps. So thank you all. Thank you and bye.